Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to this week's blog post, this week's YouTube video, wherever you're watching this particular thing, whether it be on social, whether it be snippets or whatever, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you about building a Teflon customer profile. And when we talk about a Teflon customer profile, we're going to walk through a few very important characteristics of a customer profile. Okay, customer profiles, to start, the big question we want to ask ourselves, and you might be asking yourself, is, Dan, I've done really well in this industry. I've made a lot of money. I've been good at what I'm doing. Why do I need a customer profile? And it's a very valid question. I mean, for me, I realized very quickly when my career was kind of doing one of these, right? And it was never really continuing to scale at a height that I wanted it to. I realized very quickly it's because I really had no idea who I wanted to sell to. You look at so many industries, you look at so many products on the market, right? And you see and you say, okay, this product on the market is geared towards, say, teenagers. This product on the market is geared towards parents. This product on the market is geared toward people 50 and over. So all of these products have specific profiles or avatars, if you will, of the people you want to deal with, right? Because when you're marketing and when you're selling, you have to sell in that mindset of the person you want to bring on as a client, right? That conceptually makes sense to everybody. However, most salespeople, when we pick up the phone, it's just we're picking up the phone because we're dialing for dollars, man. We want to find, we want to get business. We want to drive business. And there's one thing to drive business, but there's one thing to drive long-term business and longevity in clients, longevity in what you do. I mean, here's the thing. When you talk about why a customer profile, the first thing is that you are the product. Okay? So when I say you are the product, what I really want you to put into your mind to really start comprehending is, that product you see on every TV commercial that they're trying to sell. You are that product. So I believe anyways, you really need to sit down and say to yourself, okay, if I'm the product, who's my customer? What's my customer avatar? What's my niche? Am I going to go after a niche? How am I going to work that? Because I really need to understand, if I'm building a customer profile, I'm building it because of a specific reason. What's that reason? Who am I going after? See, these are important because when you talk about you and your product, you have to understand that, what is it? I think the number is something like 60% to 75% of our day is spent working. So especially in this industry, every salesman in the transportation and logistics industry, how many times have you gone home and answered phones and dealt with customers while your family's sitting there having dinner or anything of the above? I mean, it takes a while in the industry for you to realize you can leave your phone in the office and check it after dinner and nobody's going to die. But we tend to always be answering that. So if we're spending 60 to 75% of our time with people we don't enjoy being with, think about that for a second. Would you ever do that in your personal life? Ever? Would you ever in your personal life say, I'm going to go to 75% of my time? So, on a weekend, I'm going to spend a day and 3/4 with people I don't like. I don't believe in their values. I don't believe in their ethics. I don't believe in what they do. You wouldn't. That's crazy. So why do we do it at work? I'm victim to this as well. I have a specific customer profile, and I'll tell you, when I really started accelerating my career, I stuck to that customer profile, and then all of a sudden I'd kind of get lax. And I'd find myself all of a sudden, and my number one on my team would come to me and go, you know what, Dan, this customer does not fit your customer profile. Why are we dealing with them? And I started thinking about that. And I started thinking, wow, you're right. Why am I dealing with this person? Why am I choosing to work every day with this person that's coming at me with every single minute little issue? It's transportation. Sometimes there's no mitigating that issue, but it's every little problem, nickel and diming for $10, for $5. And in my profile, I don't want to deal with those people. I really don't. I was at a point in my career where I didn't have to. I didn't have to deal with the people that were just driving the business to the ground. I could pick and choose who I wanted to deal with. And it was a really, really interesting kind of eye-opening experience. And I realized two things. So the other two big things is I realized that those companies that you allow this idea of a customer profile, an ironclad customer profile, a Teflon customer profile, is the foundation of your business. Because, and this is what I realized, if I sell to everyone, I actually sell to no one. And that was a tough realization because I said to myself, no, if I sell to everyone, I'm going to get business. No, if I sell to everyone, I'm actually selling to no one because I'm not doing the people that really need my business, my service, that really need what I can do. I'm not doing them any favors because I'm filling all of my time with these everyones that aren't part of my customer profile, which leaves me exposed to not being able to be there for my long-term clients that really fit into my customer profile, that fit into my idea, that fit into all of this stuff that I want to be with 60 to 75% of my day, of my time, of my week, right? I want them to be the foundation of my business. And you know what? They understand that I am the product, right? So when I started really thinking about that, I said to myself, I said, when we talk about these things, we want to really look at and we want to consider 4 pretty critical things when we're developing this customer profile, right? Because it's one thing to say, yeah, Dan, I understand you are the product. I get that. 65 to 75% of your day. Yeah, I get that too because I live it. Okay, yes, I do want a foundation that I can raise a family, that I can have a future, that I can have longevity to create. I want that foundation. And at this point, Dan, I'm not quite sold on the fact that if you sell to everyone, you're selling to no one. Understandable. You don't need to be there at this moment. If you can get 3 of these 4 and conceptually grasp that and really take it in and say, yes, I believe that. That is true. Then we're on a really good path. Because what I want to consider when we're talking about our customer profile, the first thing I want to consider, obviously, is the prospect's values and ethics, right? What do they value? Ethically, what type of people are they? Like if you are a family man and your customer values just like, I don't even know where I was going with that. Yeah, okay, let's do it like this. If your values are integrity, honesty, and your ethics are of the same nature, you're integrity, you're honest, and your customer lies to you in order to get a better deal, is that somebody you really want to deal with? If your values and ethics are on full integrity and honesty, regardless of the situation, and your customer makes a huge mistake, you say, no, but you were wrong. And they say, no, I wasn't, you were wrong. And they try to throw you under the bus. There's a difference here, okay? I've had customers call me up and say, Dan, listen, I need to throw you under the bus. And I'm like, okay, fine. That's fine with me. Throw me under the bus. The reason I need to throw you in the bus is because I screwed up. You mind taking the hit? So my boss don't get mad at me. They get mad at you, but I'll protect you. Yeah, no problem. He came to me because he had values of being ethically good. He didn't throw me under the bus without me knowing. Do you understand? So I accepted it and I moved along with that, and that was fine, right? So when we go back into this relationship aspect, right? So this values and ethics flows right into this relationship. What type of relationship do you want to have with your customer? So often when I talk about relationships as it relates to a customer relationship, a supplier relationship, these two, I look at 2 areas of this. So are you a commodity or are you a resource? Right? To me, those are the 2. So I look at it and I say, okay, Mr. Customer, when it comes to relationships, I understand your values, and we kind of go through a little Q&A on values, and I ask the prospect specific questions to really extract what their values and ethics are when it comes to the industry, when it comes to their belief. And then I immediately flip it over to relationships. And I say, do you treat your suppliers as a commodity or do you treat them as a resource? Don't necessarily ask it in that manner, but I ask questions to decipher which one it is. So then if they come back and they say, you know what, Dan, I like dealing with resources, we're on the same page. If they say I like dealing with commodities, we're not on the same page. I don't play in the commodity industry. I play in the commodities, where specific commodities, specific types of freight I run, but I don't play myself as a commodity. Okay? So the next is, this is a big one, because to me, so many salespeople never ever really dig into this, right? So what happens when they deal with stress, right? So let's talk, for example, a service failure. Right? So how do they deal with a service failure? Is it understanding? Do they really sit down and go, you know what, I get that. I understand it happened, so do me a favor, Dan. Can you share with me, or can you help me understand what you're doing to correct it? Because we are in transportation, things happen, but how are we correcting the situation? What corrective measures have we put into place, right? And then when you think about it, let's talk about a loss, right? Freight gets lost, freight gets damaged, freight gets stolen. How do they deal with that stress? I've had customers in the past that deal with it really well. And I've had really high-end customers that you think would deal with it well that absolutely blow a gasket and turn into 4-year-old children, right? So I wish I would have known that prior to getting involved, because when you're talking about a high-price commodity, a high-ticket commodity, where, you got companies like Cargo Cats and all these people watching this freight, when it gets stolen, there tends to be a lot of there tends to be a lot of framework and structure around working the product and moving the product. And because of that, there's a lot of stress in that scenario. You don't need to stress when there's a loss, because everybody has actually been doing their job to try and make sure everything goes off without a hitch. See what I'm saying? So why do we need to have that stress, if you will, in dealing with this? Okay? So think about that. Then next one is, I want to talk about how they specifically view you. So when we talk about relationships and view you, I want to segregate these two. And the reason I want to do that is because whether they believe you're a commodity, meaning there's vast amounts of what you serve or what you give in the market, they don't necessarily need you, in quote unquote, or you're a resource. Those are two very specific relationship-driven pictures, okay? The views, what I want to talk about is, I want to talk about, do they use you as a tool? Okay? Are you a tool in their business? Meaning, not just to move their freight. Meaning, hey, we got this new launch coming up. We got this new product coming up. We want to move this product a different way. Can you give us some ideas? And I'm going to try and draw a light bulb here, right? Can you give us some ideas to structure that better? Or are you simply just a cog in the wheel? Right? That to me is really important. Really, really important, because if I'm just a cog in the wheel and no matter what I do, you feel that tomorrow you can make one phone call and replace me, you might see me as a resource when it comes to, let me restart that. The prospect or your customer might see you as a resource in getting your product to market. But they view you as a cog in the wheel. They view you as another piece of the structure of business. They don't see your knowledge, your education, your wisdom in this market as a tool to help them grow, succeed, and accomplish things quicker, right? So when we consider all of this, I want to look at four very, very important parts. And the four very, very important parts that really dive right into, get the right piece of paper up here. The four important parts that I want to dive into is your profile flexibility. So we sat here and we said, okay, we want you to consider kind of these 4 things. And as you go through and you think about your customer profile, you're going to think about many more things that you really want to start considering. You want to start digging into, right? You want to start chewing on. So you want to start chewing on their values, their ethics. What type of people do I really want to work with? What type of people do I want to be associated with, right? Because the success that we have typically comes from our association with people. And they even say, people you surround yourself with. Well, if you're surrounding yourself 60 to 75% of your time with customers and the people inside those companies that work with you, would you not want them to be of the upper class as well? And when I say upper class, I don't mean specifically like lower class people or upper class. I mean upper class, people that deal in business properly. People that come to the table, that don't hide behind and skirt the issues, that will sit down and talk and say, listen, I like you, you're awesome, but you screwed up. You severely fucked up and you can't do it again. Here's what's happening. Here's what the issue is. Here's what I'm facing. How do we fix it? As opposed to going and like and hanging up the phone, and then calling you back an hour later, going, "Hey man, can you pick that up for me and do this?" It's like, whoa, do you just not realize what happened there? Like, this is business. We treat each other properly. We treat each other with ethics, morals, and values. You move business, you work your business with ethics, morals, and values. The ones that work this business without ethics, morals, and values are the exact reason the industry is tanking on rates, on everything. That's what's happening. Because there's always somebody out there that will skirt the rules to make a fast buck. And you know what? When you do that, you lose in the end. And unfortunately, over the past couple of decades, those people that lose in the end actually are taking an industry with them. As I sit here and record this, we're mid-2019. Rates are at a 2016 level. So we look at what we've had to pay for. We look at inflation. We look at the cost of everything. You look at gas. You look at all of this. Everything's skyrocketing and rates are dropping. Why do we see, this year has been unprecedented. Why do we see a big carrier, like a big cog in the wheel of, and when I say cog in the wheel, I mean this in a very positive manner, not a negative manner. The industry as a whole has tentacles that need to keep working. One of those tentacles go down, it adds stress to other tentacles, right? So you see, the tentacle goes down is cost. 2019, costs started plummeting. 2018, a lot of people sit there and say, 2018 costs were astronomical. Yeah, they were where they should have been years ago. It actually wasn't astronomical. The market evened out. But now all of a sudden capacity comes up. People are like, oh my gosh, I got to move my truck, so I'll drop my pants. And they're just tanking again numbers. So, sorry, I got on a little rant there because that has nothing to do with the client profile. But for me, that's where flexibility comes in, because I sit there and I say, you know what, I get it, but I'd rather take an L now, I'd rather take a loss now than have a long-term loss, long-term issues, long-term stress, long-term challenges because you, the customer, treated me like an asshole, right? So what I want to talk when I talk about profile flexibility, okay? The first one I'll talk about is personality. Right? What type of flexibility are you going to have in their personality? Right? So for me, I look at it and I say, okay, if I want an ironclad customer profile, I'm willing to bend, call it 20% on personality. I'm willing to move exactly where I want my client, 20% into the negative end of the personality, and I'll still do business with them. Because at 20%, they're still going to act like this. They're going to have this little kind of glitch, if you will, but I can overcome that with this, okay? I can talk to them when it's a 20% variance in the personality that I'm looking for, okay? So when it comes to that personality, second we want to kind of dip into is the business process. So when it comes to business processes, how they run their business, how they structure those relationships, how they structure all that, I want to look at it and I say, you know what, I'm only going to go 10% on that. Because that's a big part. If I'm going to spend 75% of my life with somebody, I want to make sure, that personality, if they vary 20%, I can talk to them on that 80% and get them back up to that 5-10% on specific conversation kind of scenarios or situational scenarios. But when it comes to a business process, I mean, their business is structured a certain way. Their mandate is kind of structured that way. If they can move 10%, I'm okay with that. Any other than that, I got to kind of take it as a situational perspective, right? I can't take it as an overall perspective. I'll take that as a situational perspective on individual business opportunities, individual stuff like that. Second, another thing I want to talk about is issues, right? So when your profile flexibility comes to issues, this is a big one because the issues that you face in transportation are vast, right? You've got supplier issues, you've got receiving issues, you've got consignee issues, you've got customs issues, truck breakdown, product not going to the right place, product damage when it gets there. I mean, the challenges and the situations we could face go on and on. So where are you willing to flex on how they deal with issues? So for me, I would be in the neighborhood of 5%. And this for me would be a huge one. Because the way somebody deals with something, we all know, the way somebody deals with something is their true character, right? You get on board and you're in that honeymoon stage, man, and you're moving freight and everything's good. When things go wrong, that's when the true light comes out. And for me, that issue part, no, I'm not even interested if they can't handle issues properly. If they decide that I'm an instant asshole because something happened, a variable that I couldn't control. Don't get me wrong, not that I chose to book a guy where the usual rate $600 and I decided to pay $2 because I was greedy. That's on you, not them. That's all on you. What I'm talking about when it comes to issues is I'm talking about it happened, an accident. Somebody pulled in front of the truck couldn't stop in time, slammed into the person, nobody's hurt or dead or anything, thank God. But the issue is freight shifted and another pallet crushed your product. They want to blow up about that, have a good day, I have no interest in dealing with you. That leads right into the partner. Right? How flexible am I going to be on the idea that they're a partner of mine? They're not my boss, right? So, and I mean, even in a company, right? You have superiors, you have C-level executives, you have everything. But the fact is, the owners of companies work for the employees, right? We're all a team. If you're in this for the long haul, if you're in this to build a massive career, this is a team. This is something that is built together. It's not singular. I'm sitting here recording this video for you. I have a team that I work with. You see me. And you think, oh, Dan's doing this. No, I have people I work with. I have coaches. I have people that I consult. I have people that I show things to and I say, what do you think? I have people that help me on different things because we have a team. We have to do it as a team. We can't do it by ourselves. It just doesn't happen. We don't achieve the success. If you have partners in your company, you take this profile and you work it with people in different departments in your company. Because, you sit here and you say, okay, I'll go back to this for 1 second, then I'll get on that rant because we really need to talk about it. So, partner. For me, this is 0% budge. 0. They have to be a partner and they have to understand that we do it together. This is not just you. This is not, I give you business, so you're going to damn well listen to me. It's not that. And any customer that does that, I will drop them instantly. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk, like an asshole, nothing. That's the reality of it. We are dealing with these people all day long. Every day. We go, 8 in the morning till 5, 6 at night. Then from there, we literally, with our family, 6, 7 o'clock at night till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So where's the majority of our time? Right? If there's an issue after hours, we're typically dealing with that. You know how many nights I didn't put my kids to bed when they were young? Because I was working? Do you know how many nights I slept in the office? Making sure, meaning my home office, not the office. That would be no, actually I have done that before, unloading trucks. So, slept in my office, getting up every 3 hours, making sure a truck's on time because I didn't want to put that on my team. Do you know, so these are things that we do as salespeople. But what we need to do is we need to start with an ironclad customer profile. We need to start with the exact, when you close your eyes, it's crystal clear who you want to deal with. That is a starting point, my friend. I hope this video, that's a big shift I just did right there. I hope this video has served you in some way. I hope it's kind of, even if it's just opened your eyes to, I really need to kind of figure out who it is I want to work with. Because you're going to see a drastic increase in customer retention once you start landing customers that fit your profile. That when you've really considered a lot of these things, and then you start really formulating your Q&A to match this. And that's when things really take off. Until the next time, my friend, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and go out there. Make every call an educational one and crush your sales.